All right, so let's get started. Who's here today? For all of you who didn't hear who I am and who is on the other part of the moderation side, it's me, Moritz. I'm living in Berlin and I'm working for the Actionbound Academy. And on the other hand, we got, please present yourself.
Hi, my name is Anna and I'm from the Actionbound sales team. And I'm really looking forward to this for us late afternoon, for some of you the morning.
So what's the agenda for tonight or for the morning in your case? We are going to give you an overview of the possibilities of Actionbound, what we offer and how it works. And what is very important to talk about are our licenses as well. So feel free to ask Anna your questions concerning this topic. She's the expert on this. And I'm going to show you in the second half of the presentation the core for our work or for your work with Actionbound, and that's the so-called bound creator. And after that, we will have even more time to discuss your questions and maybe some of your use cases. Please keep in mind that it's just the basics today, and we have more how-tos and further informations for you on our YouTube channel and on our website. So Anna, please be so kind to answer some of these questions by giving some links to our website or our YouTube channel, and you guys can inform yourself afterwards or during this presentation, however you like. Okay, so I'd say let's dive right into it and play a game. So take your smartphone or tablet and scan this QR code with the integrated QR code scanner with the Actionbound app and get started. What is Actionbound actually? So I hope you enjoyed the bound, and I will get to the short history of Actionbound for the next minute or so. So our company was founded in 2012 and by Simon and his best friend Jonathan. And at first it was an app for digital scavenger hunts and mobile adventures, as well as interactive guides. So Simon had a project going on where he wanted to make it possible for younger people to experience and create each other's living environment in the part Kreuzberg of Berlin. And he was looking for a tool to do that digitally, but unfortunately he didn't find anything like that. So he asked his best friend Jonathan, who is an IT technician, and yes, he said, right, let's go on, let's try to get some app like you wanted. And yeah, that's how it all started. And almost 10 years later, Actionbound is used by dozens of libraries, museums, schools, and as well as companies. So we have around, I looked it up some days ago, like 1 million players each year and more than 150,000 creators during these last 9 to 10 years. So that makes us very proud, and we hope that you as a player or even as creators will continue this journey with us. So all these different playable outcomes, so to say, are called bounds, but I bet you already got that. So they also can be described as serious games, and these serious games are digital games that are not exclusively designed or created for entertainment, and they can pursue a certain learning goal. That makes Actionbound actually an experience-oriented tool, which, sort of a learning tool for playful and interactive learning. you can use it, and we get to this later in more detail. How does it work? We have the browser-based bound creator, which you can access through all major browsers like Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, and so on. Here is the place where you create at first your account, which is super easy, and then you can create and afterwards edit your bound using this easy to use bound creator. For all of this, you need an internet connection. Next up, when you've finished creating your bounds, you can play and other people can play your bounds on tablets or smartphones. So these visualizations, for example, on the left side, you see a quiz, and on the right side, the smartphone, you see a find spot task. So for playing, you don't necessarily need an internet connection. You can preload your bounds in the app and play them later offline. But how can you find bounds? Through the app or on the website, it's possible. So you can click on Find Bound in the app and type in a topic, a word, a location, whatever, and the app will get you some results. You can click on Bounds Nearby and activate your GPS module, and the app will show you several bounds near your location. And the third and quickest option is scan code. So you just scan the start QR code of any bound, which you can get on the website or in the real world, let's say it like this. And the bound starts right away after that. What are our game elements? So we have several of these. At first, there's information, which allows you to insert text and different kinds of media. And we have the quiz. So it's all about right and wrong here. We offer 5 different modes. For example, the solution input, multiple choice, or estimate number, like you've seen in the screenshot earlier on. But I will explain all of these later when we get to the bound creator. We have mission. So here you can assign the players a creative task. And here is no right or wrong. And the type of solutions, that could be text or the upload of a picture, some audio, or even video. We have the find spot game element. So you can set a specific GPS coordinate for the players to get to. And they can earn points by that and move on afterwards to the next element. Then we have scan code. By scanning a generated QR code or scanning an existing code, like a QR code or a product code, the players gain points and solve this task. We have the survey. So here is it all about giving the players different options to choose from, and there are no points here to earn. At the very last, we have the so-called tournament, and this is only available for multiplayer bounds. Here you create a task where team members can play against each other at random. So it's up to you to use these elements creatively to edit funny, interactive, and or serious games and adventures. And the mix of these elements is completely up to you. I already talked a bit about single player or multiplayer bounds. You played a single player bound. So it starts with a screen where you can type in your name or nickname and agree to our terms and conditions. This you have on the left side. On the right side, you can see start a bound and the tag, what is your team? So you're asked what your team name is, and all of the players who play in a certain team insert their names or nicknames here. And these players play together as a team on one device, a tablet or a smartphone. You agree to terms and conditions and get started. At this very point, you agree to the terms and conditions because we need your name to get them in touch with your results in the very end and create these rankings so you can compare in the end who's the winner, who got second or third place. When we talk about all these game elements, it's very important to know, why do we do all of this? Where do these game elements maybe come from? What are they good for? So it's because of this big thing called gamification. And this basically means we take these game elements I already talked about, and we take some game principles to apply them in a non-game context. And by creating experiences similar to those when playing a game, we can motivate and engage our users emotionally. This helps them learning about these new contexts, topics, or about these new facts and locations you are going to send them to. Specifically for the use of Actionbound, this means you interact with the environment, or you get the people to interact with the environment, whether it's going outdoors in a park, through the city, in a museum, or even in the water, or maybe within a mountain. I don't know, maybe you guys have some creative ideas where to create a bound and let the people play. You get direct acoustic and visual feedback for your answers, like you already have. And it's a positive reaction if your answer is right. And it's some kind of a negative one, this sadly looking smiley, when you get the wrong answer. You can get points for these answers, more or less, like the creators edited it. And in the end, there are some rankings where you can see who finished first, who finished maybe in the middle, and which team, if you play with a class and divide your class into groups, which group maybe earned the less points. And so you can get in touch with them and look forward for a better result next time. Next, I'd like to give the word to Anna, and she will tell us a bit more about licenses and the pricing. And for that, I will go to our website and give the word to Anna.
Okay, perfect. Actionbound can be for free. But this is only the case if you use it for your personal life, like birthdays or families or friends. Our founders are not really fond of data trading or advertisement in the app. So the way we finance ourselves is through licenses. And we have the free account for private non-commercial use. For example, I got to know Actionbound on my 30th birthday when my friends organized a scavenger hunt for me, which was really, really cool. So this you can do in the free account. And then we have the educational use because this is actually our main part of the clients are from the educational sector. So libraries, high schools, universities, but also a lot of non-profits who do charity, social institutions, like that, a lot of cool projects, historical projects, nature walks, basically all non-profits can use the cheaper educational prices, and we have the normal business prices, the pro area, and there we also have a lot of cool things that companies do, like employee onbounding or team building or something for Christmas. or something for clients, for the guests, like hotels do little tours for their guests. And these are just some examples. Within the educational licenses, because some of you come from that area, we have the different area schools where you have licenses for the whole school or just for one teacher or just for the library. We have within the colleges, it's the same. You have a license for your whole faculty or just for one teacher or professor. And the library licenses have another system. It depends on the size of the city. And for most of you, probably the extracurricular education is the right area where you choose a player package of the number that you expect of how many players you will have within a year. But you never have to know the exact number, because you can always buy another package if you notice, okay, it's getting really, really big. We also have a flat rate where you can, where you have flexibility for a year and can have a really large size of players. Or if you buy too big, you can use the contingent the whole year for all projects you want to. So for unlimited bounds that you can create. And the remaining players can also be transferred into the next year and the next license. So you don't have to know exactly how many people will join your bounds. Is there anything else that we should mention here, Moritz? Well, the license is the only thing you need. We have some extra things that you can pay for, like there's a design feature, the bounce dialer, but there's nothing else than this license that you need, and it's always valid for 1 year. It can be automatically renewed, but it's never, this is never the basic setting, so you can always make a break or renew it yourself or ask us. Yeah, and if you have any questions about that, you can just contact us via phone or mail, and we can send you an offer if you need to present it to your boss before or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, you can try it out for free for 14 days. So this is possible for the educational use and for the pro use. And if you want to try it out privately, you can do that for free, of course, like Anna said.
Perfect.
All right. So let's go on. And I think now it's time to get into the bound creator. So the very heart of Actionbound and for you as creators. After you registered via mail, you get into this dashboard, and my dashboard here is already filled up with some folders, but yours will be absolutely clean at the very start. And so you can click on create a new bound on the big plus to create a new bound and give it a title. So in this case, I would say, test bound creator. December 2nd. All right, so this title, you can modify it afterwards, absolutely no problem. So if anything regarding your project is about to change, or the topic is about to change, or the location, and you set it in the title, you can change it afterwards, no worries. But the bound URL, which is unique, you can't modify afterwards. So here, be sure to keep it quite general, but a bit specific for your project. And for my project tonight, I'd say it's bound creator December 2nd. All right. After that, you can choose the play mode. you already experienced the single player bound, and we have this multiplayer option, so you can use the tournament option as a game element as well. You can decide for now at the very beginning, but you can change that afterwards. And when you think you should switch the style or come to mind that not only people alone should play it, but in groups, that's absolutely no problem. The next step is the sequence of stages, and you can fix that on the one hand, and you can keep it flexible if you like. You can change that afterwards, and what it means in detail, we will get to that at a later point. So we click on Create Bound and get right into the bound creator, and the section is called Content. The Actionbound bound creator gives you, everywhere you go, some little helps. So like this here, that you can click on the plus to add your first element, or if you see this little eye, you can click on it and it gives you detailed information what you can do with this element or at this very moment. So we click here and add an information. That's good. And the window which is popping up probably reminds you of posting on social media or posting in all kinds of forums around the web. And you can type in text here, and you can modify this text via these two. So you can put it in italic or here in bold. So I'd say we use this very first information screen as a welcoming screen, like it's here written in gray already. So welcome to this test of the bound creator. Already missing something. Right. So this is it for the moment, and I'd say let's add that. And what you see here now is a visualization of your text, how it could look like on the screen, on the tablet or on the smartphone. And I say, yeah, it's fine, but I like to modify it. So on this right side here, you click on this small pen, and this means edit again. And I will mark that and put all of this in italic. What you can see here are these little stars at the beginning and at the very end of this welcoming message. And this is part of the so-called markdown language, which you can use in this bound creator. So if you know how to use it, you can experiment with that and make these texts here look even cooler, or get some formation of your text. And when I save that, you can see now it's in italic. For me, that's fine. And this is the first information I would like to give my players when they play this bound. What is next? Click here again. And in this menu, we can now choose between all these different game elements. I'd say we go by quiz for the moment and create a quiz. And here you can see we already have a lot more options. So what is my first quiz or question about? I have prepared a small bound, which I do in the German course as well. So I think we can take that as well. And it's called the search for the Berlin bear. And we need a question now. And I thought of asking, how does a bear look like? What's his color? All right, so that's the question. And the preset for the points here is always 100. You can adjust this like you want. So you can type in 0 or 1 or even 1 million if this suits your use case. I will go by these hundreds because yeah, lots of points don't really motivate anymore the players. So keep it simple. Then we go to this part. It's called answer. And the element wants to be, fitted in a certain mode. And like I already said, we have 5 modes for you here. This is solution input, multiple choice, estimate number, sort a list, and the clause. We'll start with solution input. So remember our question, what kind of color does a bear have? And because the quiz element is all about right or wrong and getting these 100 points or not, we type in the correct answer is black. But I think there are some more bears and some more colors bears can have. And that's why I can add this here and type in white or brown as well. And so we have 3 right answers. The system knows now if someone types in black, white, or brown, they will redeem 100 points for that answer. If you want to have more examples how to use this, just hover over here and we will have some information for you as well. But what about the guys who didn't get it right? You can type in the solution here. So after typing in the wrong answer and getting the sad smiley, they get the solution you type in here. And at this point, I would type in, to my knowledge, there are brown, black, and white bears. All right. We could add this quiz because we have the question, we have the correct answer, and we have the solution to that. What kind of settings can we adjust here? At first, you can set a certain number of attempts for this quiz. So if you say, this might be a bit tricky to answer, or you just want to be super fair, you can type in 2 attempts. That's very fine. All right, but what's the penalty for the first incorrect answer? This would be 10 points at the moment. You can bump it up to 50, maybe. That's up to you. And you can give certain hints to answer this question. And I'd say the first hint could be search the web. Or another hint could be visit a zoo. Or maybe even ask a friend. So we have 3 tips here, and you can keep this order, or you can say, no, like this ask a friend hint, add first to be shown, and the first answer is incorrect. And you can bump up these attempts to 5 if you like, so everyone has the chance to get the right answer here. What's next? Down below here, you can see show solution if answered incorrectly. And I think that's a very good way to get the people who didn't get the answer right the solution, and to take this as a learning to get to the next step, to the next element, and so that all players are leveled when it comes to the next element. If your use case doesn't need that, you can switch it off just like this. And for a more serious topic, you can decide whether you want to show this reward or failure icons. Maybe if you're visiting a museum or creating a bound for a graveyard where you don't want these acoustic and visual feedbacks to be popping up, you can switch this on here or again off. All right, so I think we're almost done with this quiz. And check this out. We got that so-called time limit here. And in my opinion, this is a beloved feature of younger people, either playing bounds or creating them themselves. Then they featured the time limit and said, yeah, I don't know, maybe something like 10 seconds for a quiz. But keep in mind, this counts down from the very moment you open this game element. So you have to read the text at first, you have to read the question, think about it, and then maybe type in the answer. So I think 10 seconds is far too less. I'd say 30 seconds is fine for this and for a quick first answer. Down here, you can set the threshold at which 10% of your points, in my case, this is the 100 points, will be reduced. So I'd say when they go 3 seconds over the time limit, they get an extra 10% off. I think that's fair. So let's check again. We got some hints. We got more than one attempt. We set our answers and the solution, and we have our question. Fine. We can add this now here. And this is what it looks like when you created a quiz. On the left side, again, you have the visualization of your text. In this case, your quiz, your answer. And on the right side, you have the points you will reward the players with. You have the mode you choose from. You have your correct answer and solutions and all the other sets we tickered. All right, what are the other modes about? So we get into quiz and answer again and select another input. Let's say we go for multiple choice. And I think our question, what colors can bears have, or what kind of bears do you know, fits here as well. And that's how multiple choice easily works. You type in your solutions here. So I'd say brown, black, yellow, and white. You have your answers here, and you ticker the correct ones. So in my case, it's more than one, because there are brown bears, black bears, and white bears. All right, cool. This should work out. Our settings are completely fine at this moment. You could say they don't need 5 attempts here, so you could reduce it to 2. And these hints, yeah, I think that's fine as well. When we look here, you have another option, and that's the so-called relaxed scoring. What that means, I will just hover over this information. Here, you can reward the players with a partial points for each correct answer. And I think that's quite fair if maybe some people don't know about a black bear or a brown bear because they have never seen something like that. And then you just enable that. For me, I'd say it's fair to type in here more than one answer is correct. So you can adjust the difficulty of your bound as well for younger players or for more experienced players. What other options of modes do we have? We have the estimate number. Well, this actually doesn't fit with our question about the color of bears, but maybe I can quickly come up with another one. Maybe something like when you have a rally through your city or your town, you could ask how many people inhabit this town or this city. And then you at first type in the correct value. So for Berlin, I think it's like 3.5 million. So like this. And you have the minimum value to estimate. I'd say 1 million. That's fine. And you have the maximum value. So I'd say it's about 5 million. And the people can now choose between these, between this range. And like in the first mode, you can say, okay, there should be a reduction of points when they don't get the right answer. And I say for every 100,000, they're not right, they get 10% off. You have the same settings here as well, and can set a time limit if you like. What else do we have? You can sort a list of words or numbers, or you can sort some pictures. This is also possible. Like it's written here in German, actually. You can type in your answer here or insert some media data. So I'd say, let's go maybe for the word and the name Berlin. And we could type it in like this. All right, so this is the list in the correct order for the system. Good to know. So it can reward the players who get it right with 100 points. But for the players, when they get to this game element in the bound, it's all mixed up. And they're just starting to, decrypt this and getting to know, okay, what is it? I don't know. I think there's no other word possible here at the moment using these kinds. So this is the sort list mode. And what we have at last, it's clause. And as you see here, you can write a text, for example. I'd say, keeping our topic of the bears, there are brown bears, black bears, and white bears. So this is actually the solution to our question. So what's the clause for and how do we activate it? You need to place these ones here around the words you want to hide for the players or to find out by the players. So this would look like this. And now the text, which is visible for the players, would be there are clause, bears, and bears. So they have to figure it out and type it in. And because there are 3 words missing now, I'd suggest you give them a hint. So maybe you could set certain colors down here, like we had it before: yellow, pink, black, green, and let's go for white, because we have 3 right answers and we give them suggestions of 5 different ones and say maybe choose 3 of these. So I think that's not too hard and absolutely solvable. Cool. So let's save that. And as you saw before, we have on our text and our question on the left side and our points and the mode. In that case, it's clause here. And you see the text we typed in is there are brown bears, black bears, and white bears. And these words underwritten will be left out for the players. All right, so are there any questions till that point for the quiz game element? So you're free to go and we can answer your questions.
There are no questions in the chat. There was just one cool recommendation of
nice.
If you use the timer, it's always cool to answer the question before in an info element, so they know there will be a timer, and people who are slow readers are not don't have a disadvantage. Yeah,
definitely, very good.
Like a little warning before, if a special,
yeah, like a warning,
special element comes up.
All right, good. If there are not any questions, we will continue with the next element, and this is the mission. So as it says up here, assign the participants a creative, solvable task for which there's no right or wrong. So here you can be absolutely creative and like it's said here, take a selfie in front of the Holy Grail. Okay, I don't know whether that's doable or not, but you don't get any points for this mission task. You can solve it creatively, and the system, the app, doesn't know what you're actually inserting, what kind of media or text, because we don't have an artificial intelligence behind all of that to measure that out. So for the time being, I'd say we keep our context of these different colored bears. And I would like to know from the players, how does your favorite bear looks like? And the task for them would be draw a picture and take a photo of it. So maybe we can note here after that, upload it, please. All right. And now you can set the type of solution you want. And this is always a solution which is, you cannot give the players an option to choose, but you preset it when you edit your bound. So this could be text, upload a picture, how we want it in our case, upload a short video, I think it's up to 30 seconds, and upload an audio. So maybe in a school context, you could say, you could set a certain topic or a scene and give your pupils the task to discuss in different roles and upload this as an audio file. Later on, you could hear what the classmates had to say about this topic and how they discussed. This is just a quick idea for this, and we ticker upload picture here. And there's another option we can choose, and this is the so-called source. And this just means, do the players have to take a photo with the camera of their smartphone themselves, or can they maybe get a photo of the gallery app from the smartphone or tablet? And again, for the context of education, schools and museums, but even for companies, this is something to consider, is when you have the possibility or want to give some kind of choice of pictures, and they can choose from these in the gallery app and upload one of these, what they think suits best for that kind of mission or task or question, like in our case, how does their favorite bear looks like. I'd say they should draw a picture, and I'm very surprised what kind of bears they favorite, and that's why I say camera here. Let's add this element, and you can see it's already here, visualized. Again, text on the left, and in this case, just the type of solution here, upload picture from the camera. Are any questions for this game element here? And I will try to answer these, or we can play a bit around with these
there
settings.
is the question about privacy issues where the videos and pictures are stored, if they have access to the files, but I think this will come later on when we look at the results.
Yes, when we look at the results page and can tell you what kind of results you see and what kind of results the players see, and where these pictures actually go to and will be stored. Very good question. We will keep this one in mind. All right, so let's go on with the next element, and this is called find spot. Players must go to a specific GPS coordinate, it says up here. So we get them the task maybe to, let's say in Berlin for the moment. And I'd say, look for the bear near the city hall. In the case of Berlin, maybe some of you already have been to Berlin, it's a red one in the city center near the Alexanderplatz. So this is our task. Look for the bear near the red city hall. That's it. And the players will be rewarded with 100 points if they reach the destination we're about to set. So we click on coordinate, and here you can type in your GPS coordinate if you already have one. That's no problem. Or you can select it via the map, as we will do in a second. But keep in mind, GPS is technically not super exact. Maybe you experience this using a navigation app for driving, or maybe when going out for walking tour or so in the mountains or in the woods. It's not that exact. And if you want to know how exact it is, you just go over these hints here. And so we actually advise you, due to these technical limitations, that it's best to have a distance of around 15 meters. If you get nearer to the point you set as these 15 meters, the app will say, all right, you found the location. So it'd be better if the object or the location you want your players to be at is already inside when they get like 15 meters near that. So we would set a point for the time being, click on select, and have this map here. So it's preset at our office in Berlin-Neukölln, and we go to the Red City Hall near Berlin-Alexanderplatz, and we'll set this right here. You can see here, this is the area where the app will tell the players that they found the right spot that you, or in this case, I intended them to find. And this is the entrance of the, in German, we say Rotes Rathaus. And I think it's important to mention that you should be careful with this spot which you choose. So maybe not to set it like here within a building. So maybe it's not accessible at certain times or at all. So you should go to this place, visit it and check out yourself. Is the location you want the players to find accessible? So I wouldn't recommend to put it here on a street or near a street. If this is a big street, maybe the players have to go into the middle of the street to solve this element. And I think this could be quite dangerous. So please keep in mind to test your own bounds and visit these places which you want to be found. In my case, I will set it right before the stairs and the entrance to the city hall so everybody can find it. All right, so click on OK. And you see here the generated GPS coordinates. And I think we're fine for that. And we go for the settings. What kind of modes can we choose between here? As you saw in the beginning on the screenshots, we have this directional arrow, like you know it, some kind of a compass, or maybe when using a navigation app. But you can also set it to show map. And this means you have the player using the GPS module as a live feedback position, which is pulsating. And you have the goal somewhere on this map. And the players can choose how to get there, navigating on their own. And maybe the distance is quite far and your players are clever and choose the bus or the subway to get near to that spot. What options do you have here? You can say that the players have to find this spot before they are allowed to continue your bound. In this case, this step, this element cannot be skipped. I wouldn't suggest that in general, but in some use cases, this is definitely useful to get the people to these places and not to stay at home and solve all these quizzes from the couch. So you can set it with yes here. And like at the other features, you can show or don't show the reward and the failure icons if you like that. So we add this here, and on the left side we have our mission, and the right side we have these coordinates and this map, or this part of the map the players will see. Are there any questions regarding this find spot element?
Yes, there was one question. If there is a way to reduce the default GPS minimum distance, because it's difficult when locations are close to each other.
Yes.
I already answered it in the chat. There are some things we can do. It is possible, but I would not recommend this because every phone works very differently and we cannot do so much about it because the GPS connection is just different on different phones. And but we have some tips to give to you or to your players, so to make sure it works the best way. You cannot adjust the radius by yourself. It's a setting, well, it's a pay feature, and it's a setting that our IT team needs to do. So I would just play around with it a little bit and test it first.
Yeah, and I think you can give some hints maybe. So if your task is or the player's task is to find a certain tree within a park, it's fairly possible that a tree is right next to it or within these 15 meters. So you either could describe some details of this tree, or you could use another element, which is the next one. And this is called scan code. So what the find spot element is best for outdoor and for maybe for bigger distances. You can use this scan code element to let the players search for a certain location or a certain object with a code on it inside or within a relatively small distance. What is this all about? So I'd say for our use case, it should say scan the code on the back of the bear. So our players hopefully found the bear if it's not removed in front of the city hall. And we want to make sure that they are definitely there. And that's why we will generate a QR code like this here. You can save it on your desktop and print it and maybe laminate it and stick it at a certain location you want your players to find. And in my case, this would be the back of the bear in front of the city hall. And when our players go there, use the scan module of the Actionbound app and scan this code on the back of the bear, they will be rewarded with the 100 points we set earlier and continue to the next step. So far, so good. What can we do else? You could use your very own code. This can be a QR code or a product code, as I mentioned earlier. And how this works, I will just show in a second. Just click use your own code, and then you will have to get to know the code and the app. So you click on scan, and the bound creator tells me I should scan with the Actionbound app this code. I will do that. And afterwards, the app says I should scan the QR code or product code I want to use for my riddle. And I have a CD here, and this has a product code on the back of it, and I will scan it. All right, detected. And within some seconds, the scan code finds itself here in this order of numbers. And now my players, in my case, would have to have this very CD or one copy of it, let's say, scan this code, and this mission would be solved correctly. So if you have a product code from the back of a book or a QR code, which is placed at the information center of the university where you maybe make some kind of a get to know tour. You can keep this QR code there, insert it in your bound, and get your players to find it and scan it for the reward of 100 points. Here you can see the same settings as before within the find spot element. So again, here the hint for you, these players must scan the QR code option is not good in every sense, but keep in mind to give your players a hint or at least a direction or the possibility to ask someone who knows about where the scan, where the code is, which is to be scanned. And then you could easily set this to, yes, this very code must be scanned to continue this bound. All right. So we add this scan code feature. This is what it looks like. And if we would use a generated QR code by our server, save it, it would look like this. And you could print it in the size you need it, whether it's very small and should not be detected that easily, or maybe even bigger to make it more easily to discover. All right, any questions concerning the scan code element? Otherwise, I would continue.
There are no questions in the chat.
All right, great. So let's get on and we'll take the survey. The survey is a bit like mission. You don't get any points for that, and you can create, as it's named, a survey for your bound players. So you could maybe say, how do you like this bound? Oh, space in here. And go to the answers and say, oh, yeah, it's good. Or maybe next, great. Or not so great. Maybe like this. And the players can now choose between these answers, and you could easily say, okay, they can choose multiple solutions. This is no problem. Maybe we would have to edit our question for the survey in this case, and maybe something like, how do you like Berlin? This could fit. Then can adjust your answers here. Maybe something like, yeah, I will come back. All right. Yeah, so just play around a bit with all these features if you like. And we add this survey now to our bound and have almost every of our game elements used. And the very last is the so-called tournament. This is, as I already said, only available when you have a bound which is set to multiplayer mode. And here you type in your instructions for this play or this tournament you want to play with the players. And I'd say this could be run from the bear to the fountain, because I know this fountain of Neptune is quite near to the entrance of the city hall, and back again. And the question is, who is quickest. And what the app actually does in this case is she mixes your team and says, for example, all right, at first, John is against Julie, and afterwards, it asks who was first. Then you click on the name. Afterwards, you say, okay, it's Anna against Moritz, and the app asks again who was first in this case. So you got the semifinals done, and then you have the big final, and there will be a winner in the very end. And what does this winner get? You click on award ceremony and type in some text or some upload some media here for the player. And maybe you could say the losers will spend ice cream. All right, so this is it. And we could add that. Cool, so we have every element used now. And I'd say if there aren't any questions, we will get on with media and testing. How does the game know who won? Yeah, that's a good question. So when you have the semifinals, you say, okay, Julie or John was the quickest, or Moritz and Anna, who of these two were the quickest. And in the final, it's the same. So the two people, the two players are matched again against each other. They run again or do something else. That's up to you. What you want them to have as a competitive environment. And so the app knows right after you click it, and then they get this reward as we typed it in here. Okay, I hope this question is answered.
The question continues. Yeah, you click.
Right. So the app knows the names from the very beginning, from the start screen, where the group members entered their names or nicknames, whatever. And so it matches all of these against each other till the app is sure this one is the winner. So there's only two players to choose from, and then it asks who won in that very case, or for this very task you made them do. Yeah. All right. Cool. So for the moment, we're done with this bound. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's nothing special, but for this presentation issue, I think it's very good. And if you like, we can test it for the very moment, and you have some of these answers maybe kept in mind. And I will scroll up here and give you the advice that you should always test your elements one by one or the whole bound. And how this is going to go, I will show you. You have here certain buttons. And in this case, we have the edit button here. We have the test in the app button here. And this is what we could use to test this information element to get, to know how it really looks like in the app. Is it working? Does the picture, which we will upload in a minute, looks good? Is everything as we liked it? So this you can do with every single element. So you can try out, is your clause mode working right? Even if you insert something incorrectly, does ask a friend comes up as a first hint? And is it right that the camera module opens when we have this mission here? where it's all about the favorite bear and the drawing. So you can click on test in the app and it will generate a QR code for you. I will cancel that for now and scroll up to the very top and explain you this. This is the overall testing button. So if you click here, it will generate a QR code as we just saw, and you can test your bound through from the very beginning to your last element. This we will do in just a second. We have our different game elements here, and maybe you want to use an element twice or an information element with some pictures in it for another time or at the very end. And then you could simply copy this element so you don't have to insert all this media in another element. Just click on copy, go to the position where you want this element to be shown. And for me, it's here. And go down to the menu till paste. And you see it's here, right here. So exactly as we had it on the very top. And if you say, oh no, that was the wrong element, you just go on delete and you have to click it twice. So it's more safely that you don't delete anything you wouldn't want to. Another possibility is when you say, okay, I don't know whether all of my elements are in the right position. And you think, the mission, this is way too early in the bound. I want to be shown it a bit later. You can click on this down or on this up and move this element one step down, or in the bound chronology a bit later, or even more, as you like. And if you didn't do that on purpose, you can click here and undo what you just did. Okay. Cool. So I think it's time to test our bound. That's why we will go to this section here. We are at the moment in the content section. And as you see here, we have the content section, the settings, and the results page. And we go to this A of Actionbound. This is the page where you have an overview of your bound and see this QR code, which is the start QR code for your bound. So you can print that and place it somewhere, maybe at the entrance of the university or the school, or you can hand it out to the players when they should play it, or you can put it on a website if you like. That's up to you. So let's test that. And if you like, you can start our bound we created here by scanning this QR code with the Actionbound app, and you get this so-called version of our bound we created in the last couple of minutes. So if you like, start it and play it through, or just one or two elements, that's up to you. And then we will see who of you earned some points or played at least. And this we will see in the results page in about 5 minutes or so. As it is written on the right side here, and I marked it for you, attention, this QR code is just for testing. So you should not publish it, because this one is going to be changed if you do any kind of corrections in your bound, let it be the spelling, or you insert a different photo or another audio, or add another game element at the very end. This code will change, and the players who scanned this code will no longer be able to start the version of the bound they already started. So let's close that again. And you see, we can test it here. Our bound is still offline. And so I would say we just put it online so everybody could play it. And when you do that, you click on Put Current Version Online. And this orange button will turn into green and tell you which version is currently online. What do we have else here on this side? The so-called bounds web page with the unique URL we set at the very beginning. And if you click on that, we get to our bound web page with the QR code to start. This one never changes. So this is the one you can print and communicate around the web. You see the Actionbound Academy created this bound. And you see here what kind of game elements are used. So nobody played it or nobody rated it at the moment. That's why you don't have any stars given here. So let's go back and change something. And we were asked how the media upload goes. And this is the point where we will upload just a picture. And I'd say we go for the mission. And here it says, how does your favorite bear looks like? And I will answer that with a picture I took. We click on this media library. You can upload different kinds of media like photos, video, and audio. And you can also insert links in your text so that you can link from the app and from the bound to a web page. And this is maybe suitable when you say, there is a riddle and the solution for this riddle can be found on our website. And then you can insert a link, get your players to visit this website, look for the solution, get back in the app and type in the solution, which hopefully is correct. Keep in mind, for this case, you will need an internet connection for the players. Either it's the Wi-Fi in your school or the university, or maybe the cellular internet connection on the way. So we want to add another file. As you can see, we already added several files here. And in your case, when you create your first bound, this would be completely empty. You click on Upload File, and it opens for me the screenshots. But I want to go to Downloads. And this is where I have this picture of a bear. And I will upload it. So this is what it looks like. I'm completely fine with that. You have the file name here, so you can check whether it's the correct file. And the most important thing, you set the license type over here. What different types of licenses do we have? So we start maybe for the context that you make your very own city tour for your friends and for the family. And that's why you walk around and take some pictures. And these pictures taken by you belong to you. You can use them however you like. And that's why if you use these pictures, like I do with my picture of the bear here, you don't have to choose any license type here. This would be not specified in this case. But if you use some pictures from the web, which you downloaded, or your students or other people you're working with on this project downloaded some pictures from the internet, they are obliged to check whether there's some copyright on it and get to know whether it's okay to publish these on their own and what they should spell it. So this would be the copyright, and this means that your picture will get a line under it with a small c, as you already know, and you can type in here the complete copyright information. So maybe in this case, if I want to make sure the people should know that I took this photo of the bear, I would say photo by, or it's Bearman. So it's clear I took this photo and I have the rights to publish that. So we make sure in our terms and conditions that you are responsible for all the contents you put in your bound. This can be text, audio, video, or photos. So when you create a bound, keep that in mind, that you have the rights to publish the certain materials you're using. And if you're working together with groups of younger people or elder people, that doesn't matter, that they are authorized to use certain materials or keep the source in contact so that they can authorize this use for this very bound in this very setting. What you can also do is add an URL to maybe a website or a photo in an archive, in a digital archive maybe. And in this case, this text here would be clickable when I type in something like, if I had my own website, I would name it like this. Okay. And so this text would be clickable and they get redirected to this website. If you don't have a website to link with, then you just can keep this empty. The next option is the so-called CC license or Creative Commons license. And I think most of you already got in touch with that. So on Wikipedia, for example, or other sites, lots of people contribute their contents, that be texts or articles, videos, photos, GIFs, also under this CC license. And this means you can use it for certain purposes, which they state. And keep in mind these purposes. Look up the version of the CC license. And this could look like this, I think. And this comes with some rights for the user. You can also insert a website link or just a URL here and tag it with this CC by SA 3.0. All right. This is about the media upload, and we will finish this. See our bear right here, and we select it. And it goes in some kind of code you see here. And this is our picture. It may not look like this, but when we save the element here, you can see, all right, here's the bear. Great. And if you say, oh no, the bear is not in the right position, no problem. You just copy or cut this code and get it to another position, maybe here, insert it, save it, and voila, the bear appears between the question and this task. Great. You can insert videos and audios like this. Then you have a so-called audio or video controller in there to play and to pause in between. And you can insert several of these media in one. So you could put in here like 5 times this bear, no problem, or a video, a photo, and an audio. This is no problem. And then you can scroll down here and see, okay, yeah, all of my media elements are in there. Great. Any questions concerning the media upload?
Yeah, there's a question if you want to upload GIFs, if you upload it as a photo or video, because for him it doesn't work.
Okay.
I think it doesn't matter if you choose video or photo. I'm not sure, but for any technical problems, you can always write a mail at support@actionbound.com.
Yeah. So I know for a fact that GIFs are working, but unfortunately, I don't know which mode I picked for the upload. So just try it out, or I see in the chat, Julie already tried it out and it works for her. Yeah, so this is definitely an option for you. All right, great. So let's get back into our settings. And we see this information here. Our bound has been modified. So we have to, if we want to, upload this new version of the bound. And within seconds, it's done. And you can always step down from this version to the older one if you made a mistake or just updated the version for a very specific event or so, then you can double down on that. All right, what settings do we have left? Click here on the wrench and you can see we can select suitable bound image for our marketing here. You can select this and choose from your library. And keep in mind for this title picture, you need a very broad picture, as it says here, at least 740 by 350. So the greater, the better, and the broader, the better. Otherwise, you have to cut it or some parts of the top and from the downside is not visible. You can insert a description here for your bound. So what's it all about? Maybe who created it? What was the project all about and why you did create it? And maybe some tips. You can insert a website link here to your project or your institution. You can choose from different categories you want to assign it to, maybe educational. In my case, it would be outdoor and sightseeing, and of course, cities. You can set a starting point, which is quite important when you want your bound to be found via this button, find bounds nearby in the main menu on the Actionbound app. So if you want your bounds to be found when the GPS module is enabled, just select the starting point here. And for me, this would be the train station of Berlin Alexanderplatz. And you have your starting coordinates here. You can set a destination as well. And then the people get a card with the start and the destination on the start of the bound so that they can see, okay, that's where I'm going to be in about how long? This is what you can set here. The bound length, let's say in my case, it's 1 kilometer and it may take them 15 minutes to solve our very easy riddles and get to the destination and the bear. All right. As I said at the beginning of creating this bound, you can switch between a single player bound and multiplayer bound mode. This you can do here all the time you want. You can choose between the visibility of your bound. Is it a public bound for everyone? Or is it maybe a secret bound for companies and employees to play only on certain events or in certain contexts? For private users, this option to put bounds on secret, it costs a small fee, but everyone who's got a license can switch between public and secret bounds, no matter the fact. What about the results? You can choose between whether the results should be hidden or the players are asked whether they want to publish the results or not. This will work at the very end of the bound when they give feedback for your bound, and then they are asked whether they want to publish their results anonymously or by their name on the bound page. And this is how you create your rankings, which can be seen by the public. But the other rankings for you as an administrator, you see all the names and all the results and can go on for your kind of use case. We have another feature for you, which is not part of this basic course because it's so great and you have so many options. It's called switches. So I recommend, if you're interested in this cool feature, which allows you to specify certain conditions for elements to be shown, like when my players reach this spot, then the next element will be a certain task or a certain quiz. Or if that player answered the survey with this answer, he will get the next element with this picture or gets this video information. Or you say, maybe I want to give the people who earned a bit less points till this very moment a bonus question. You can use switches here as well. If you want to get in touch with switches more, you can look up on our website or see a quick introduction on our YouTube channel. Furthermore, you can divide your bound into different stages, and this can be either fixed or flexible. So they get kind of an, after the introduction, they can choose between the different sections and maybe start at a later point of the rally or at the quiz. So we can play these bounds with groups better, that they go from one station to another in a different order. So not all of you, all of the class solves one riddle at a time. And on the very bottom, we have the so-called danger zone, but no worries, it's not that seriously. Of course, you can delete your bound if you don't want it anymore, or it doesn't suits you anymore, or simply the event which it was designed for already is passed. Then you can delete this bound, but there is an option that you don't do it unpurposely. So you can click on delete here, type in the exact name of your bound, and accept this again, then it will be deleted. Here you can rename your bound. As I already said at the beginning, this is possible all the time. And if you want to duplicate your bound for another group and maybe change some of the facts, you can do this in the duplicate and have two versions of your bound. Okay, so at the very last, let's go to the results page. And here we have not so many regular run-throughs. So no one played it through. Yeah, that's okay because we just put it online. But two of us tested it via the QR code I switched on during this presentation. This you can see here. When it was last played, what was the average duration, and what was the average score. But in this case, nobody earned points here. What do we have on the bottom? These are the finished bounds. So we have two test runs here, all with one player, and this happened tonight. So here you can see the duration, and what you can do now is to compare these. Just tick them here, click on compare, and we can see, okay, they didn't get our quiz with the clause right. Oh, someone took a picture of the bear. Fine, that's cool. And in here we see, the spot was not found, which is completely undoable for some of you because, or actually for all of us, because we're not in Berlin or not at the Alexanderplatz. This code wasn't found because it was nowhere printed and sticked. That's okay. Here you can compare the results of your players. If you want just the results of one player or one group, you can click on the name and see all of these dates here. This you can use for your lessons, or for your seminars, or for a feedback talk with your employees about the topic you created the bound for. Okay, when you want to download these results, you can do this, absolutely. Either on click just download, or use some kind of output. This could be as an PDF, as an Excel table, or as an Excel table with all the media in it. So, for example, the pictures, the videos, and the audio is in this point and not downloadable, I think. But I didn't try it actually. So this is a task for me for the next days. All right. So I will return to this results page, and we have time for some more questions concerning these results.
I just saw that the people really want to know more about switches.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Find them really cool. And we have an English tutorial about that. We have a video. I will post it in the chat. This maybe also helps you a little bit.
Yeah, this is a short video.
It's a short video. It's a short video. Yeah.
We're working on an extra introduction for switches, and then in German and English as well. And for the time being, you can use our step-by-step guide for the switches. This is the same in German as in English. And there you can read about all the different options you have with switches. And yeah, I think it's definitely a feature you should try out. It's so fun to mess around with that. And it requires a lot of testing. That's as well to say. All right, cool. So at this moment, I'd say that's it with this Actionbound beginners course. And I'll thank you very much for your attendance and for your questions. And if there are even more questions, that's now the time to ask.